Floatplane wants the bread can back for us, so I guess they can have it for a
Bread
little bit.
can.
Why don't we talk about Disney nixing DVDs in Australia? What is going on?
Yeah, this sucks. Disney will no longer release physical media in Australia and New Zealand. Disney movies and television shows will only be available via streaming following the physical release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Australia and New Zealand are actually the third media market where Disney has cut physical media releases. Disney discontinued DVDs and Blu-rays in Latin America and most of Asia in 2020, a year after the launch of Disney Plus, citing low physical media sales. In May of this year, Disney removed over 50 titles from its streaming service as part of a $1.5 billion content write-off. This included Crater, a Disney Plus exclusive, which was released on May 12th, 2023, and removed 7 weeks later on June 30th. The film is now unavailable anywhere on the internet.
I beg to differ, but okay.
Except for some places on the internet. Disney has also censored content such as 1992's The Muppets Christmas Carol, where they digitally removed a cigarette from a puppet's mouth. Okay. So far, only WandaVision, Loki, and The Mandalorian, those are the only Disney Plus shows that have officially announced physical releases anywhere in the world.
Okay, so we need to talk about content. I know that it's not quite exactly what's going on here, but it is very clear to me that the TV and movie business, as we've known it for our entire lives, is fundamentally broken.
Oh, yeah.
How many days is the writer's strike going on now? Like 110?
Oh, dude.
Or something like that?
It's a long time.
I was talking about this with Ed earlier today before the show, and he seems to feel like the situation is pretty cut and dried. He's basically going like, yeah, I mean, eventually the studios will have to concede something, and, you know, the writers and actors will go back to work. But what he thinks is going to happen is we're just going to see, they're going to, you know, they'll get paid more, they'll get the more residuals, like what, you know, whatever it is that compromise ends up looking like. But we're going to get a lot less shows.
And probably a lot less chances. Like, do you know what I mean by that? They're going to risk less, do more boring things.
I mean, that's already the direction it's been going.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like it would get worse.
I'm honestly, I'm
not sure.
Even as someone who doesn't really rely that much on TV and movies for my entertainment, like if I have absolutely nothing to do and you put a gun to my head and you say, okay, do something to entertain yourself, I'm gonna go to a video game. I'm not typically gonna go to a TV show or to a movie.
So this is kind of random stuff. It's from the Vice. They said the previous writer's strike in kind of 2007 to 2008 lasted for 100 days. The longest strike on record in 1988 lasted for 153 days.
Okay, so we're not even record breaking yet, but still, this is brutal.
So far, I think this was as of the 23rd, so that's 2 days. So it's been 115 days, I think.
But something you got to consider too is like looking at all the interviews and like the articles that are coming out from the writers. Like they are going into they're over 3 months.
Whiskey Nerd 88 and Floatplane Chat said a U.S. judge just ruled today AI content cannot be copyrighted, which includes TV and movies.
Okay, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show, I think.
Interesting.
Or are we? Is that not in here anymore? Oh, okay. Apparently that's not in here anymore. Okay, well, it was planned to be in the doc at some point, I think. Okay, well, what was I saying? Something. Right, yeah, so they're over 3 months now. But like from everything that I'm reading, a lot of these people not only are over 3 months without work now, but they were not being well compensated before that. They don't have cash reserves, and you'll have to forgive me. I have not looked into the previous strikes in the 2000s and in the 80s. But what I would not be surprised to hear is that at that time, they may have been in a more comfortable position in their lives overall compared to right now. And I'm really worried that the studios are just not going to budge on this. And the number that really stands out to me here is
just like the personal life impact of going into debt because of trying to fight for this is brutal.
The $1.5 billion content write-off, that number stands out to me. And the reason for it is that that's how worthless this content has become to their business. That they would literally rather delete it from the internet, not provide it to anyone, and just use it as a loss, as a tax write-off, compared to keeping it up. So if that's the state of things, what are the odds that they're going to be, champing at the bit to make more content? Even before all this went down, I'm not sure if we talked about this on the show before, but the CW, I don't know if you guys know CW Network, but they've done a lot of shows over the years. One of the ones that I liked back in the day was Smallville. I don't know if anyone cares about Smallville anymore. Probably not. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore.
Is that a Canadian thing?
CW?
Because Smallville was filmed here. It was filmed
No, it's not Canadian. CW just used to shoot a lot in Canada. But before the strike even started, they basically just packed up and moved out.
Yeah, because I've mentioned Smallville to a few people, and all the Americans don't seem to know what it is.
Oh, really?
So I thought it was maybe just like a Canadian thing. But there's a bunch of people in chat saying it's in America, so maybe I just happened to my sample size was small.
Yeah, another big number. So in the UK, you can't abstract how much each of your productions cost. You can't just bundle them all together and say, okay, well, here's a bunch of productions we did, and this is how much they cost. They require you to report exactly how much you spent on each production. Do you know how much they spent on the Willow reboot?
Oh, no idea.
$100 million.
Yeah.
$100 million. That was up for, I think, 6 months before they pulled it down. And so the negotiating position for the writers in particular is these guys already didn't want to make content. They were already just going, okay, forget it. This is actually not even worth it. We'll just pull it down. What are we going to, what TV shows are we going to watch? How are they going to move forward? Oh man, I read this really sad article about a dry cleaner. Hollywood dry cleaner. The kind of collateral damage that wouldn't even occur to me. Because your family member worked in the production industry for some time. What would you say?
Two of them.
Okay. I mean on set.
Okay, yeah. Well,
okay, that's fair.
I know what you mean.
The thing I'm about to say.
What you mean. Yeah.
They work direct. They would have direct experience with this. Okay, help me out here. Okay.
I know what you mean.
Okay. So that particular family member, you know which one I'm talking about. Please don't make this difficult. How often, with the way that talent treats their clothes, how often would you say that those clothes probably need to be cleaned?
Yeah, I'm assuming. I haven't actually specifically talked to her about this, but I'm assuming a lot.
All of a sudden, Hollywood dry cleaner.
Yeah. Gone.
See you later, business.
Yeah.
No, and it's everything, right? It's not just the productions; it's the promotions for the productions.
And you just fought through the COVID era, which even though a lot of things kept filming, I'm sure the rest of your traffic was majorly reduced.
Yeah.
So then they've
been hit hard by work from home because people don't need their professional clothes.
That too. Yeah, yikes.
So it's not just woe is me, what TV will I watch? It's what is actually going to happen to not just this industry. It's also food services companies are struggling right now. What is going to happen to all the feeder industries that rely on this money that's coming in from people going to the theater, from cable cutting, right? There's no money going in for that.
Camel and Floatplane Chat said there's a studio near Berlin, Germany, which is struggling right now because of the strike. It might even have to close.
A studio near what, sorry?
Berlin, Germany, because I guess whatever they film is written, I'm assuming.
Right. Okay.
In the U.S. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Brutal.
But that would make sense.
I have a controversial take. I think that this is a huge opportunity for the South Korean film industry.
Oh yeah, because they're big.
Yeah, and they're doing really cool, really innovative stuff.
Dramas, right? Korean dramas.
Well, not just that. I mean, they've had theatrical breakout hits
Okay, yeah.
as well. And I think that in the absence of new Western-produced content, I think there's going to be a lot more appetite.
People are going to watch something.
They'll watch something. People want to be entertained.
What about anime?
I don't know that...
Does anime jump more mainstream?
I don't know that people are going to just cross into different genres. I think you're going to see some of that. I mean...
Okay, so people like their shows.
Yeah,
if you want your dramas, you get your dramas, that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I would, like, if people like comedy, I suspect they're probably going to watch... They're going to want to watch comedy, right?
Yeah.
But I do think, you'll probably see some of that. I think that the back catalog owners are probably going to benefit from this because they don't have to spend any money producing anything, but they can license out their back catalogs because people are going to want to watch something. I mean, it's not the way that I consume content, but the way that, don't forget Bollywood. Yeah, 100%. Thank you, chat.
Some Bollywood stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
like actually very entertaining.
Like the real risk to the industry right now is that it used to be that Hollywood was the only show in town.
Diversification of global interest type of situation.
Yeah. They are totally not. There's some really good quality stuff being done in China now, too. Like China's film industry in the 90s is basically irrelevant, right?
Yeah, not anymore.
But they're pumping now. They're going hard. Okay, so back to Disney nixing DVDs and Blu-rays in Australia. So the couple things here is, one, we're just seeing this general withdraw from even bothering anymore.
Should we drop the bread cam? How long have we had the bread cam up?
I don't know. He's hanging with us. Dan, what the heck?
The bread is precious.
Precious
so many people aren't even going to get it. That's why I was saying. A lot of people aren't going to get it.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about?
Content disappearing off the internet.
So Disney's withdrawing basically on every front. Basically going, how much does it cost to print and ship a plastic Blu-ray disc?
Oh yeah.
Functionally nothing. And if they're basically saying, this isn't even worth it for the whatever localization that we're going to have to do,
printed labels.
I mean, it's Australia and New Zealand. What localization are they even doing? Do you guys have dubbing down there and all the characters just speak in Australian accents? Is that and I'm kidding. I obviously know that doesn't happen. It's not even worth the minimal localization effort that it would take to distribute content. So that's problem number one, is do they just become a theme park company? Problem number two is that not only does this mean that people who don't have great internet connections are not going to have as easy access to content, but it also means that the highest quality version of this content is simply not going to be available anymore. And that really sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. I'm happy that archiving of this type of media has become more of a collective work fairly recently, it feels. For a long time there, it was just people pirating for their own personal gain. And it's been kind of shifting to groups of people trying to archive things because they're just being, $1.5 billion worth of content was just ripped off of this platform, is no longer available at all. So, I'm happy people are archiving.
So tell me this. I know from talking to you both on the show and personally that Steam was a turning point for you for game piracy.
Yeah.
I know that Spotify or similar was the turning point for you for music piracy.
Yeah.
I'm about to ask a spicy question. Are you going to go back to movie and TV show piracy if there's not a reasonable means to get a quality version of the content?
I will do what I can to legally acquire the content.
Do you plan a future career in politics? I'm just wondering. Seriously, it's an honest question because you're on this show, same as me, and yet somehow you managed to come out of pretty much every controversy completely unscathed while I dig myself deeper and deeper into various holes.
I've had some
Clearly, you need to coach me.
I've had some hits recently.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've been totally blunt. Physical backing of I have no problem downloading something that I have a physical paid backup for. I don't like legally.
Oh yeah,
it's still piracy. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. If they've gotten their money, I just don't really see what the issue is. So yeah, I'm lazy and I just download things if I want to watch them. And then it's just, it's a quick couple of clicks to put something in the pile to make sure that I can not feel bad about it. But I think that more broadly, putting people back in the piracy pipeline, like making people go to the effort to, find a good private tracker or whatever else, once they've got it set up, are they going to come back to the streaming services, especially if they're not getting fresh new content all the time? Like, is this whole business just dead?
Kind of shattering itself.
Yeah.
I do know a very significant amount of people have been, I won't say forced or made to go back to, but heavily nudged back in the direction of privacy or piracy, I should say. Sorry, and they've been embracing it. The amount of memes that I've seen where it's like, the old meme back in the day of like, goodbye old friend, and he puts the old ratty pirate hat in the box.
Yeah.
And there's like Netflix or whatever there. The amount of memes that I've seen where they take it back out of the box because there's like Netflix and all these other ones there. And now the problem isn't even that. It isn't that there's too many platforms and it costs a ton to be able to access everything. It's that you can't. So we're going back to old methods.